All right, everybody, welcome to Balls and Brew Week 4. I am not the Podfather Rod Morgan. I am Jimmy filling in for Rod as he is in Vegas. Williams, did you get an invite to Vegas from Rod?
No, man. I was waiting for the invite in the mail and did not get it. I told him to go to Stadium Swim. We'll see if he does that. But yeah, what's up? What's up, Rod? What's going on out in Vegas without me?
And then his apparent main man from North Carolina, Chris. I'm sure you're in Vegas with Rod right now, and you're just remoting in.
No, unfortunately. But in all honesty, Rod was probably smart not to invite me. I would have been up to some no good shenanigans.
No question. Well, we don't have Hot Rod here, but we do have someone else who's hot. 7-2 hot. Williams, slam those picks again, buddy.
What's up, man? I got 7-2, off to a good start. Hoping to continue that this week. You guys will probably think I'm crazy for taking one of these picks later on, but we'll get to the props a little bit later. I feel like I got unlucky there with one of them. We went 1-1. We'll see how Chris did with his props last week.
All right, so since I'm in the driver's seat here, I think we need to talk about our Arlington Bears. One of the most pathetic, ridiculous, what other bad words can we say for that performance against the Cleveland Browns, dude?
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean,
dynamite dropping. That broadcasting school is really paying off for you, Williams.
I was trying to think about Arlington 2026 possibly with if they go retractable roof, could we maybe get a Super Bowl like in the next decade? Maybe.
I think so. February in Chicago is usually pretty easy to navigate, so it should be fine. But, So Williams, did Matt Nagy know who his starting quarterback was?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, Nagy should have never taken back the play calling duty last year. I mean, they were statistically better without him calling plays to close the season. And I mean, Justin Fields isn't going to reach his ceiling or anywhere close to it with Nagy calling the plays. The Bears averaged 9.9 yards to go on third down versus the Browns. They needed to do better on early downs for the rookie. But this offense, even with Fields was catered towards Andy Dalton still being the starter. They used 5-man protection most of the time with like a RPO, like quick read. That is not Fields' strength, especially against a great defensive line that Cleveland has, making the decisions even quicker. So we knew the Bears' O-line, specifically their tackles, aren't any good. And there was only 4 rollouts the entire game. They weren't using Justin Fields' strength, and that is he was the number 1 QB in college over the last 5 years in intermediate accuracy of throws between 11 and 19 yards. So you would think the coaching staff has to know this, right? Like, let's get him out to a quick start where he feels comfortable on the road. Seems plausible, right? How many passes do you think came off that yardage amount in the first half? Absolutely zero. Absolutely zero. None. They attempted 0 in the first half. It was an absolute pathetic display of moppishness. Only 2 the whole game. I mean, last season, Nagy relinquished the play calling to his OC, Bill Lazor, and the offense took off. It was actually a big reason why they made the playoffs. And Lazor used more pre-snap motion, more play action. And when they went back with Trubisky, he completed over 68% of his passes in every game that Lazor called the plays, something that Nagy never did. So I guess it's just an ego trip that Nagy is back to calling plays, because why else would he still be doing it? I mean, he stinks.
I mean, this solidifies him being on the hot seat, right? Like, they can't keep letting this happen, can they?
Well, they already ruined one. I don't know if ruined him. I mean, he wasn't the best to begin with. Let's be honest. Deshaun Watson should be a Bear, but the numbers don't lie. Trubisky did good there. If they lose this game to the Lions, Williams, is he gone? Or are they just going to keep him around like they do everyone else?
Man, I would think that the media has been all over him this week. And I think if he loses to the Lions, if you take a look at that schedule is brutal after Detroit.
Lions, I think he'll be gone.
So I could see it happening. But then again, the Bears organization, they don't want to, cause any ruffles. They usually don't make decisions during the season. It's just that's why the McCaskies just need to sell the team. I wish. Ted Phillips doesn't have a clue. Pace keeps on trading away our picks, and Nagy's just a total clown. So I mean, and that's the thing with the new general manager. I'm already saying that they have a new general manager for next year. That general manager does not have a first round pick next year. So I mean, that's already an X against all these good supposedly general managers that are looking for a job next year. Like, why do you want to go to the Bears when they don't have a first round pick next year or a fourth round pick?
All right. That's enough of the Bears talk. It's ridiculous. Chris, let's talk about your Cowboys, who basically just manhandled the Eagles the entire time. Manhandled them so much, Chris, that they're looking for another quarterback who might go to jail for like 5 years.
Right?
So, how's it feel to be a Cowboys fan right now?
Listen, it's always a precocious spot to be in as a Cowboys fan.
Big word.
But you gotta love it when you pound it to a division rival like the Eagles. We had a couple mistakes, they really should have maybe only scored 7 points, maybe 3. But for the most part, our defense was on top that day. Dak looked good except for 1 or 2 plays. Zeke has really started to come through and getting back into his groove. It is a fun time to be the Cowboys, and watch out, league, because here comes CeeDee Lamb.
I think CeeDee Lamb is here, don't you, Williams? I mean, he's been fantastic.
You guys are preaching to the choir. I took Dak and CeeDee on my fantasy team. I'm loving that stack right now.
Deshaun Watson. Let's talk about this for a minute. Is he going to get traded before the trading deadline this year? Do you actually think that's going to happen?
Another guy who I took on my fantasy team with the last pick because I thought, well, maybe he might play. I don't know. Jay Glazer has tripled down on this story now that he feels like it's a possibility that Watson's going to get traded. So I feel like the only 2 spots are Miami or Philly. Philly, I don't really see them contending this year. Miami possibly because they have a much better defense. But man, who knows? Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what's going on with any of that, but the NFL hasn't suspended him, which is weird. So it's just the Texans that are placing him, not on the active roster every week. So,
well, I think if they did, then they might suspend him. I don't know. Yeah, that's weird because if you're Philadelphia, what you have to give up is your future, and then you don't have anything around Deshaun Watson, just like the Texans.
Is Houston still asking for an arm and a leg, like 3 first and 3
I think it's just an arm,
right?
I think it's an arm right now. I don't think the leg is involved.
Still, that's a whole lot of baggage to be dealing up a whole lot of future first rounders.
I mean, right now, if I'm Houston, if I get Tua, I'm happy. Like I don't know,
Yep.
I don't understand why you just wouldn't want to rid yourself of the problem. Fix the glitch, if you will. Where okay, give me Tua and give me a conditional first round pick, and let's call it a day. But I don't know if anyone's willing to do that. And if you're the Dolphins or the Eagles, you are 100% telling your entire fan base you do not care about anything except for winning, right?
Yeah.
That's got to alienate a lot of people, I would think.
Well, it's got to scare a lot of teams, though, too, that Houston has him on their roster, but it refuses to play him and still pay him all that money.
Mm-hmm. As a diehard Colts fan here, Chris, because they're your number 1 team, of course. Marlon Mack, remember Marlon Mack, great running back 2 years ago, and got hurt, and now he's back. He can play. He just hasn't been. That's a pretty sneaky pickup for somebody, don't you think?
I think that if you are a team out there that's had some injuries to their running backs already, you need to be taking a hard look at Marlon Mack. I know earlier in the year I had a hot take of Mack and Taylor getting 1,000 yards this year. That's definitely not going to happen. Naheem Hines is definitely the number 2 back at Indy. So Colts have allowed Mack to seek a trade, and I think he'll get picked up rather quick. If not before Sunday, then before next Sunday.
And then another thing that we really want to talk about here, Chris, you are pumped. In LA, Super Bowl 2022 halftime show was announced.
Right.
Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar. 43 combined Grammy Awards. How pumped are you?
I am so pumped. I'm most excited for halftime shows I've been in a long, long time. I mean, I grew up on these people. and Dre and Snoop and M. It's just unfortunate it's going to be on network TV.
Yeah, I don't think too much is going to go on that at all.
No, but you'll hear a little bit of maybe Ain't Nothing But a G Thing, maybe a little Still Dre. There is a lot of possibilities, so I am excited.
Williams, are you going to bet the halftime show over-unders and, who's coming out, how many duets are done or whatever?
How high will Snoop be? That's
no one's going to take the under. That's the issue.
Yeah, it's California. He can be smoking on stage, right?
Yeah,
Won't he be smoking on stage?
It could be. Yeah, it should be awesome.
So, speaking of props, Chris, how did we do last week on props?
Okay, so last week I actually followed my own advice, took a couple unders, and won both of them. I had Justin Fields under 216 passing yards. And
you got that right.
Right? And then I also took the under on the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game, under 7.5 points for the first quarter. I got that. There's only 7, so that brings me to 3-3 on the year. Williams got his Herbert under of 43.5 passing attempts, and Lazard for the Packers just had to stiff it to Williams. He said under 30.5 receiving yards. Well, he caught one pass, and it was for 42 yards. So Williams ended up 1-1 again for the third week in a row.
It was right there, bud. It was right at one of the first plays of the game for Green Bay, and that was his only target of the game. So I feel like if I made that bet 18 weeks in a row, that we would come out on top more times than not. But it wasn't to be in week 3.
Williams, quick question for you. The Bengals right now are plus 6.5. They're down 14-0 to the Jaguars. You taking plus 6.5 Bengals?
Oh boy.
It's halftime.
Yeah, probably. I would probably take Cincy. Okay. Jacksonville's secondary is not very good, and let's open the playbook up to Burrow. It seems like this team was chucking it all over the place last year, and they've been super conservative. This year, it's kind of put a damper on my Joe Burrow to lead the league in passing yards. They've kind of done a total 180. It's almost like the higher ups have told Zach Taylor to slow it down and run the ball more with Burrow's health. So we'll see. Hopefully, he'll open up in the second half and get things going.
All right, let's stay with prop bets. What do we got this week, Williams? What are you thinking?
Okay, props. I'm going. You can find this over on MGM. I'm going Mike Gesicki over 3.5 receptions at plus 120. So you're getting plus money on it. If you guys didn't know, he's the tight end for the Dolphins. And you know who's the quarterback for the Dolphins now is Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett loves dumping it off to his safety blankets, to his tight ends. When he started for the Colts in 2019, Ebron and Doyle combined for a 30% target share. Also, Mo Alley Cox was involved in that as like a 3-headed tight end room. And side note on Mo Alley Cox, he took the VCU Rams to 3 straight NCAA tournaments, played basketball for them. Surprisingly, that's not the most weird stat I have. The most weird stat I have is VCU played in the 7-10 game all 3 years. How crazy is that? I don't know how I know that. I'm full of useless, stupid stats. But back to Gesicki, over 3.5 receptions. He had 10 catches last week. He had 12 targets versus the Raiders, and now he only has to catch 4 balls. The Colts already filter their defense targets to the middle of the field where the tight ends run most of their routes, and Gesicki's running a whole bunch of shallow routes right now. So I like Gesicki over 3.5 receptions plus 120.
I like that too. Gesicki's a quiet, one of those quiet tight ends that really just racks up catches and yards overall. So good pick there. What else? What do you have, Chris?
So for my first prop, I am going to take the under on James Conner getting 32.5 rushing yards for Arizona against the Rams this weekend. Arizona is on like 2 or 3 third string offensive linemen with a bunch of people playing out of position. They lost 2 more guys last week. It is a mess of an offensive line. They're going to be playing against the Rams and Stafford, who throws the ball and they score points. Arizona's going to have to score a lot and quickly, and that's going to be with Murray throwing the ball and not them rushing. So I'm going to take the under on Connor getting 32.5 yards.
Yeah, I don't know, Williams. What do you think on that one? That's pretty tasty there, I think.
One thing that would worry me is that you can run against the Rams. Maybe that's Kyler. We'll see how they scheme things up. Jalen Ramsey should be matched up on DeAndre Hopkins, and the Rams are playing pretty well right now. So we'll see. I still probably like it because Chase Edmonds is probably going to get a lot of the rushing between the 20s, and they like to bring James Conner in towards the goal line. So that one could pay off.
Hey, James Conner can have 5 touchdowns and still get the under on it, so that's perfectly fine with Chris.
True.
How about your next prop, Williams?
All right, I'm going with the Bills and Texans game. I'm going Josh Allen under 35.5 rushing yards. Look, he's at home versus the Texans, who most people think are one of the 3 worst teams in the league. I mean, Houston will want to run the ball with their 3-headed running back by committee. They're going to try and drain this clock out. The Bills should be leading most of this game. Does it really make a whole lot of sense to go out there and go all out running the ball with your star franchise quarterback, especially when there's a huge look-ahead game the next week with the Kansas City Chiefs? I think Allen does his damage through the air in this game. I really like Josh Allen under 35.5 rushing yards. You can find that out on DK at -110.
Okay. All right. Mr. King.
So this one I'm going to take an over, and this is actually going to be the Miami Colts game as well. And this is going to be Michael Pittman over 48.5 yards receiving. I think that is a very conservative line for him. I think he is definitely turning out to be the number 1 target in the offense right now. And I think in Miami, we're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. And I think Pittman's going to be the one to get those receptions.
Guess it depends who's throwing it to him. I don't know if it's good or bad if Wentz is throwing to him at all.
You can find that over on DraftKings as well at -120.
All right. Any more props from either of you on this one?
No, that's it for the week on props.
Yep, we got our 2 props. Just make sure nothing else in there. Before we go over to our picks, let's go biggest upset real quick. Rod has the Cardinals over the Rams as his upset special. Is Rod going to be hot, Rod? We'll see what happens next week. Anything can happen. The Cardinals can bring stuff. Really, at any time they can score, but so can the Rams. So that'll be a tough game, I think. Williams, how about you?
Man, my upset pick of the week is going to be – I'm going to leave that for my third pick because you guys, your head's going to be blown off when I pick this, and you will not understand why I'm doing it. But
all right, Mr. King.
I'm going to go out on a limb here just because I don't like this team. They're our rival, the Cowboys. I'm going to pick the Falcons over the Washington football team.
Wow, huge upset special there. 2-1 and 2 teams going at each other.
Yeah, but the Falcons are not good.
That's true. I'm going to do a guest spot here, and I don't know. I have a feeling. I don't know why. I don't know how. Never, ever go with whatever I say betting-wise. I got the Jets over the Titans. I'm throwing it out there. I'm
that would be absolutely wonderful.
Especially for Colts fans.
Right.
All right, Mr. Williams, let's go over your picks. What you got first, bud?
Okay. All right, my first pick, I'm going against the Ravens. I'm going Denver +1. You find that on FanDuel or DK. All the sharps love the Ravens this week. I'm usually on the sharp side, but I can't get there this week. I don't trust this Baltimore team. They're going to come. They'll be coming off another emotional win. It took a 66-yard field goal to beat the Lions by Justin Tucker, and now this could be another emotional letdown spot for them traveling, basically cross country and playing in the altitude Teddy Bridgewater, 38-14 in his career against the spread. He's holding the ball the third longest time out of all QBs. That's creating an ADOT of 2 yards further of his career average. So he's getting the ball a little bit more down the field than what we're used to. The Ravens D is only 22nd in pass rush win rate. And Teddy has a 92% adjusted accuracy percentage and a 130 passer rating when he's blitzed. We saw Baltimore try to blitz Carr, and they got burned. Now, will Teddy make the Ravens blitzing D pay when they rush him? I think he could. The Ravens lead the league also in rushing on offense on the other side of the ball. The Broncos are second versus the run. I think Fangio is going to crash the ends, play more dime with like 6 defensive backs on the field. And remember, the 2019 playoff game versus the Chargers for the Ravens, they went up against Gus Bradley. Bradley put 6 and sometimes 7 defensive backs on the field to take away Lamar's rushing lanes, kind of a more athletic defense to try and contain him. What happened? The Chargers dominated that game. And some could say, well, that was 2019. How about this year, Williams? Okay, well, look at none other than Week 1 versus the Raiders this year. Who's the DC for the Raiders? It's Gus Bradley. What happened? Lamar was sacked 3 times, threw for under 240 yards, and had a crushing fumble late. So why am I comparing, Gus Bradley and Vic Fangio? Their defensive schemes are pretty similar, and they're just really good defensive minds. I think Fangio has a lot up the sleeve for Lamar, and I just think Denver is being undervalued here. They shut out the Jets last week, 26-0. They have an awesome defense. I think Denver gets it done +1 on FanDuel this week.
Shutting out the Jets does not make for a great defense, I don't think. Is this your big upset special that you were going to say?
Oh, no.
I think this is a little bit crazy. I like the Broncos, and I think they've been playing well, but they've also beat the Jets, the Jags, and the Giants. Those are 3 teams they beat, all 3 horrible offenses to begin with. This is an actual real contending playoff type team that they're going to be playing. I don't know if they've had any kind of success against a caliber of team like this. So I get worried about Baltimore coming into Denver.
All right, Williams, that was a spicy one according to Chris. I actually kind of like the Denver +1 over the Ravens because I think the Ravens can be a little overrated depending on what Lamar decides to do. What's number 2 there, Mr. Williams?
All right, we're going to go with Green Bay and Pittsburgh under 23 in the first half. You can find this on MGM at -105. These 2 teams play at the slowest in seconds, like per play, out of any team in the first half. I think Tomlin is going to have this defense ready. Tomlin as a road fave versus a losing team. He's 16-30-1 against the spread. That's not the case here. That's when you want to fade Tomlin. But Tomlin as a road dog versus a winning team, he's 18-6 against the spread. He's actually the number 1 coach in that database. I know we're not betting on the Steelers because that would be like +6.5, but we're betting on the Steelers coming out kind of with their defense, with their hair lit on fire. We're betting on an emotional letdown from the Packers traveling cross country, big last-second win against San Francisco in prime time. And Rodgers was like unusually emotional after that Californian win. So I just like Tomlin as an underdog, and I think actually Tomlin as a road underdog of between 43.5 to 51 points. He's 43-15 against the spread, so the total for the whole game is under 45.5. I like the first half under. That way you don't have to sweat a Rodgers comeback in the second half. So Green Bay Pittsburgh under 23 in the first half.
Hey, Chris, are you buying that there? I think that's a pretty good call because Roethlisberger can't throw the ball.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh does not score in the first half. That was one of my props last week, of course, them not getting points in the first quarter. So, yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
All right, Williams. All right, Chris, stretch out a little bit. Take a seat because I know you're going to faint. Williams, your third pick. It's a doozy. It's going to win us a lot of money. What you got?
You stole my thunder, man.
I knew it.
I'm taking the Jets +7. I think they can win this game outright. Look, A.J. Brown is questionable. He's very questionable. It doesn't look like he's going to play. Julio didn't play in the fourth quarter last week. We know his extensive injury history. So, I mean, you can easily see him, them saving him for the following week and trying to just get by the Jets. What did the Jets do good? One of the few things the Jets do good is they actually stop the run. That's what the Titans want to do. And the Titans D doesn't create pressure. And we saw Denver and New England get pressure on Zach Wilson. Those are two of the best defensive minds in the game, Belichick and Fangio. Tennessee doesn't have that. So they're not going to get the Jets in predictable third and long situations. And the Titans tend to play down on the road. Remember last year, they lost outright at Cincy. I think Chris called that upset last year. So I'm calling this upset with the Jets plus 7. I think they can win this outright. Teams that fail to score 10 points the previous week are 152, 97, and 4. That's 61% the following week. The Jets were shut out this last week. And since 2003, an underdog off of a shutout versus a favorite not coming off a bye is 39-20. That's a 66% winning clip against the spread. And when you bet on a team coming off 3 straight up losses, you're hitting at a 61% against the spread clip. So all the signs point towards the Jets plus 7. I think you can even sprinkle a little bit on the money line here. I think the Jets have a real good shot at pulling off a huge upset against the Titans this weekend.
Well, Chris, if you thought that the Broncos pick was crazy, what do you think about this one?
I mean, listen, it's hard to make an argument against all those stats Williams like to throw at us. The Jets are just bad. I really hope this does happen. I hope the Jets do outright win so the Titans can lose again. But I definitely think plus 7, I think they can make it a close game. So I think that's pretty good.
Wow. All right. Well, that's a lot to go over. Thanks, Rod, for having me fill in here while you're in Vegas having a lot of fun. Williams, really appreciate you as always. And Chris, take us home.
Goodbye, Internet.